Oh, all right. So I'm gonna go over, try my hand at a video here, showing basically the assembly steps for one of these drive units. This actually turned out to be a lot more difficult than I expected. There was a lot of trial and error the first time I did it, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that these are all herringbone gears. And because of their herringbone gears, you can't easily slide pieces together. And so the instructions, I believe, basically have you fix the main gear first and then put all the other pieces on, but I found that was practically impossible. So basically, I leave this main gear loose until all of the parts are in position. So let me see if I can walk through that real quick. Getting this gear into place is a little bit tricky too. There's a correct orientation for it. If you get it as flat as you can right about here, you can pop it down into place, and there it's good to go. There were some spacers, I think, that were printed out of filament. What I ended up doing was I went to my local Ace. I picked up some 1¼ neoprene washers. I found that these actually provide just enough space for the drive wheel, and actually they're a lot quieter and have a little bit more give to them. So once this piece is in, I can get that one washer in there, but before I put all that together, we need to put this piece, this cover in here. These are some 12mm screws, and I will just put these in, fasten that. By the way, if you don't have long T-handled hex drives, do yourself a favor and get some. They're fantastic. These were pretty inexpensive. I think they were from Harbor Freight. There's a metric and a standard size. They're ball tip, which is also nice. Certain things have to be done at an angle, and the ball tip makes that possible. All right. So once that's in, this gear is still free to move. We can take our drive wheel, which has the bearing and everything else attached to it. We can slide that over our axle, and it goes easily into position. And then we'll put our, actually we can save that till later. And then finally, the tricky part is getting the motor installed. What I did was, before I installed this, I did a dry fit, and I used this tape to mark the point at which this was sitting flush with the back there and in line with that gear. This way I have a mark to know, a visual mark to know that the engine or the motor is put all the way in. And then with this, it's going to take a little bit of brute force, but you do have a little bit of play to put this in at a bit of an angle. And if you get that at the angle, and then it snaps right into place. And then that's all the way up to my mark. And if I turn that, I can feel that it's actually engaging with the motor. So now once these three pieces are in, now is the time. I will switch over to the back, and this hole right here is where this piece is inserted. And I should be able to get that lined up, and with a little bit of wiggling, get that to go all the way in. There we go. And then with that in place, I can now fasten that down, and this now has all of the parts in nicely interlocked. And then before putting the final top on and fastening that down, we need to put the Vex Omni wheel in there. Don't forget your other neoprene washer. And that's probably the toughest part about putting together these drive units. So I hope this helps. Thanks.